Hello, y'all. Um, okay, so this video is about the movie The Craft, but it's also from the point of view of a real witch. And when The Craft came out, I was a little baby witch. Baby witch. We're talking like in my very early infancy kind of baby witch. So it will be told from that point of view. If that's not really your thing, that's perfectly fine. If you're not really into the craft in general, but you like the movie, so you want to hear what I got to say about it, that's cool too. Either way, uh, the movie came out around 96, but I didn't see it until like maybe late April into May 1998, which was like a month after I made the decision that I was going to become a witch. And I from the first scene, the opening scene of them all, you know, chanting and they're around the pinnacle and it was facing the right way and the directional candles and everything. Like I didn't know yet that theoretically everything in the movie was possible, but I knew that that was like something you would actually see real witches do. And in 98, like we're only a couple years removed at that point from the case where they literally removed a child from his home because his parents were pagan. Like we were, what, 3, 4 years removed from that? So, and I'm sure it didn't happen just the one time. So, like, that was a big fucking deal in the mid to late 90s. And, come to find out, they actually had a pagan consultant or a pagan advisor on that movie, which is why, one, it's so goddamn realistic, and two, the god that they pray to is completely made up. Which I probably would have did the same thing, especially when it came to the invoking scene, because you have people who are just playing characters in a film. And by the way, that's my damn dog. Ever since I've been trying to film this video, he keeps shaking his head and breathing very loudly. So I'm very sorry if you hear all that. You know Zeus, he's a ham. If he can't be in the video, damn it, there's not going to be a video. Um, anyway, but I guess he was afraid of what would come from these very young adults playing these characters invoking an actual deity. I could probably get behind that. It's one of those things we don't really know, but why find out? I'm just saying. Uh, but like that movie was really a big deal. I saw it and Practical Magic in the same weekend, and Practical Magic I love, but not because it's like super realistic. I just love it. The Craft hit me on a whole other level. Like I said, you did not see things like that at that time. Hell, I was hiding into the early 2000s the fact that I was a witch at all because in my small, filled with sin but yet ruled by the church, small Ohio town, it was better to be atheist and believe in nothing than to be a witch and believe in the goddess. Go figure. So I that's what I told everybody, that I was an atheist because I wasn't going to pretend to be part of any religion I wasn't part of, but I couldn't tell the truth. So I am, on the one hand, I'm that old fuddy duddy who's like, I cannot fucking believe they are remaking The Craft. Why? It was perfectly great the first time around. But then there's that part of me that's, especially after learning that they had people who practiced magic and pagan advisors on this one too, and from different magical backgrounds, so that's cool. And one of the characters is an actual trans girl playing a trans girl in a just regular movie role, which is something you don't see very often. So really, I guess I kind of hope that maybe for any baby witches out there right now, and by the way, that does not mean like your physical age, that just means if you're brand new to the craft, you know, yeah. Anyway, to any baby witches out there, I am hoping that maybe this movie will hit them like the first one hit me. Um, who knows? But I can't wait to see how they bring Nancy into this because the trailer, like, I don't know. My husband acts like he's so certain she's dead, but she was not dead at the end of that movie. She was just in an asylum. But there is a Ouija board, so I don't know. We shall see, I guess. Because you know I'm gonna watch it. Of course I'm gonna watch it. Even though it's made for people a decade and a half younger than I am, that's okay. But yeah, so somebody fucking texted me at almost 6 o'clock. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. What the hell? Somebody else who can't sleep. Yep. So I love the craft, and I am gonna give the sequel a shot, but I think that the sequel is probably mainly for baby witches. And for anybody who is not aware, literally every single thing in the craft can be done. Especially glamours. For some reason, people who don't really fuck with magic think that that's like the difficult one. Like, I'd be more worried about sharks on the beach. I've never seen that happen, but if it did, after I was trying to get in touch with a god, I don't think I'd be excited about it like Nancy was. Not at all. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck I did, but it was clearly wrong. I'm so sorry. But like you had the way that Chris acted toward the end under the love spell, which is exactly what happens pretty much every time that I have ever heard of someone putting an actual love spell on a specific person. It has ended in the relationship being abusive, and usually the one who does the spell is the one who's abused. Not always, but usually. And I could totally see a rape situation come out of that as well, because that's the same as, in my opinion, I always looked at it like it is the magical version of kidnapping someone and making them live with you, and then wondering why they're trying to get free of you. So that was realistic. Um, the whole situation with Laura Lizzie, which I I can't help it. Like I was the weird kid that was picked on, which was another reason why I love that movie. And I knew bullies like Laura Lizzie. I still get a kick out of what happened to her. And the way Sarah did it, if she would have just left Rochelle the fuck alone, nothing would have happened to her. See, that was not a situation where they were like, this is specifically what I want to happen to her. It was more like, okay, if she leaves me alone, cool. But the next time she does something, I want the universe to decide the best way to punish her. Now, it could be argued that the whole influence of using her hair, but you would use her hair because it was part of her. So, I don't know about that. Um, but yeah, that was very realistic. Uh, Nancy and I'm sorry, as someone who had my fair share of stepdads like Ray, I don't see a problem with what Nancy did to Ray. I honestly don't. I mean, except for the fact that Chris was under the love spell, so one might. I knew he was going to do it. So one might argue that his actions were not truly completely his own. Other than that, if he were just your average rapist, I would probably be as an adult, not when I was a baby witch, because my mentor taught me that you don't do any magic of any kind that could hurt another person for any reason. I prefer to take the approach that they took with Laura Lizzie, where it's like, okay, if you fuck with me, please, universe, decide what their appropriate punishment is. And when I'm really fucking done with someone who happens to be a horrible person, I might pray, like, please let them get let them reap what they've sown. I don't say I want this, this, and this to happen because I don't personally, for me, think that that's a good idea. But I see nothing wrong with being like, let them reap what they've sown. It's their energy. Let them just get that shit back. Um, but yeah, I feel like where Nancy went wrong, and it was kind of her problem, even in the probably to like in the way beginning when she first started, even practicing. But definitely as things progressed, at first Nancy wanted power over others to get out of her situation. That's understandable, I suppose. Especially when you're young, you think that's how that works. It's not how it works, by the way. You still need power within yourself to get yourself out of situations in a way that doesn't involve killing your stepdad, I guess. But Nancy was not old enough, mature enough, didn't have enough life experience, whatever, to realize that she should have worked on her personal power just to have control of herself and her actions from the time she turned 18 on and all that shit, like her destiny, instead of being obsessed with power over other people. And that's what got her in trouble. And that does get people in trouble in real life. There are people, full grown ass adult people, who come into the craft because they want to control other people. Well, that ain't going to end well for you most of the time, at least from what I've seen in my experience. That's not what the craft as a religious practice, anyway, um, is for. That's not what your magic should really focus on. Oh, it's the cat drinking water. I'm like, what the hell is that sound? Um, it should always be about increasing your personal power in terms of how you can help yourself. And Nancy just didn't get that. And the more power she got that she thought she held over others, the more power she wanted over others. Because she had, let's be honest, she had spent a big chunk of her life feeling helpless. And that's how she thought that she could get out of that. And I sometimes that seems like a logical thing, but it's just, in my personal opinion, it's never been the best way to go. So I think the craft did an excellent job of kind of portraying what happens when you get drunk on that power you think you have over other people. Because that power is not technically, like, it's not usually, if you're doing it the ways that we're taught to do it, the power is not coming necessarily from you. It's coming from the universe. So, don't go getting cocky. That's all. That should really be the moral of the story to the craft. Don't get cocky. Because there are things in this universe far stronger than you that sometimes just get sick of seeing you be cocky. Damn, ain't you ever read a Greek myth? Come on now. I'm just saying. Athena turned a person into a spider because she could weave better than her. Like, don't go getting cocky. I But yeah, I love The Craft. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I have really great memories of the first time that I watched it that I'll never forget as long as I live. And everything in The Craft can be done. And don't go getting cocky. And I'm going to give the sequel a try and I'll tell y'all what I think about it. I love you all. Bye.